his critique. On the contrary, what's up, Nick?
The host said that.
Hello?
Hello.
What would you like to say?
Christianity is not objectively proven. Christianity is not objectively proven. Don't just lie on the internet for fun. Get a job.
I'm not lying.
You're just lying on the internet for fun. Are you bored? How the hell is this Christianity objectively proven? What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. You probably don't understand. You probably never read a book. You probably never read a book or anything, but I read books.
You know what objectively means?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means the truth statement is true.
How the hell can Christianity be objective when it's subjective? You're acting like every single person on this earth is Christian.
That's not how that works.
Yes, it's how it was. It's subjective. It's subjectivity.
So do you see? Can you see the background? It's a book. Maybe you've never seen a book in your life. It's called The Objective Proof for Christianity. So within that book, I read this book twice. It contains an argument that proves Christianity.
Yeah, of course you'll use another book to prove something that you literally believe in a book. You base your whole life on a fucking book. Of course your book is the key to life.
Yeah, atheism is like anti-book.
That's not true. Atheism is anti-fiction. So get it right.
No, it's anti-books.
It's anti-fiction. It's anti-fiction.
No, it's anti-books.
It's anti-fiction. It's anti-fiction.
You just demonstrated my point that atheists hate books. So it's kind of hard to reason with you if you don't like learn.
Not all books are fiction, you idiot.
Okay. Well, I think you should read. So
I think you should wake up to reality and stop saying dumb shit on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully you get smarter, mate. Research on science, retard.
Okay.
Yeah, drop me now.
Okay.
Private.
Hello.
Welcome, neighbor.
Thank you.
What would you like to say?
I would like to discuss, let's see, the first topic.
Sure.
All right. So what do you mean by that?
Well, here we do the transcendental argument for God, where we argue that facts are not neutral. Facts require a story. And so you have your story for facts, I have my story for facts, and in my story, God creates all facts that are not himself. So see, my facts are like different from yours, and we can demonstrate that the story of the Bible is necessary for facts, because any other story would entail like a contradiction or an absurdity.
So you're basically starting with a presupposition that my God already exists.
I'm starting with facts, and then I ask the question, what has to be true for facts to be true?
Yeah.
And then I can demonstrate that the God of the Bible is necessary for any fact, because facts need. Yeah, go ahead.
So let's start there and demonstrate that the Bible is necessary for facts.
Well, yeah, because facts require identity over time. Causality. What?
I didn't hear the first thing you said.
Facts require for things to have an identity.
What does that mean?
That something is what it is and it isn't what it isn't. So if a fact can exist and be something it's not, then you couldn't have facts. So we need God to explain an eternal truth like that. That something in all possible worlds, something exists as it is and it doesn't exist as it isn't.
So why can't we ground that in human minds?
Because human minds don't always exist. They're not eternal.
So you're saying the facts. I do agree that, like, if I say, let's just say, for example, that a blue pen is not red, right? I do agree that the blue pen is not red. The properties of the fact exist. But I don't agree that the statement, like, a blue pen is not red, exists outside of the human mind.
Well, but the law of identity states that something is what it is and isn't what it isn't. And that has to always be true. It can never not be
Yeah,
true.
the properties themselves. Like, let's just say I have a blue pen, right?
Uh-huh.
And then, like, all human minds disappeared tomorrow. The blue pen would still be blue tomorrow, right? But the statement, whether or not, like me saying the blue pen is not red, wouldn't exist without my mind. So the properties of the fact still exist, but the
No.
statement doesn't.
But truth is a mental substance. Truth isn't like a physical thing.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
So we need to have an eternal truth, you need an eternal mind.
I don't agree truths. I don't agree that truths exist outside of the mind.
Right. That's why for identity to be true, there has to be an eternal mind. Because that truth has to exist in an eternal, because it's always true. Or like 1 + 1 = 2. That's always true eternally. So you need an eternal mind where that truth can exist eternally.
Or are you talking about the statement? The statement needs to exist eternally?
The
Or
truth. The truth
no,
statement.
there's like the statement, like me saying the thing and like the thing itself.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're talking about.
Like for example, like a blue pen, right?
Yeah.
You making the statement that it's blue, right? That's the statement. And the pen actually being blue. That's the fact.
Okay.
Yeah, so the properties of the pen would exist outside of the mind, but the statement wouldn't.
Okay, but I don't understand what is this? So but the point is like the law of identity has to be always be true.
Not outside of minds, no. If
Okay.
minds didn't exist, that wouldn't exist.
Exactly. That's why we need an eternal mind, because the law of identity is eternally true. So you need an eternal mind for an eternal truth.
No, bro, you're talking about the properties of the thing.
Okay, I guess this is just going over your head.
No, I get what you're.
What's up?
What would you like to say?
I'd kind of like to just pick up on that last conversation there.
Yeah, so eternal truths exists, and truth is like a mental substance. So you need a mind to think, an eternal mind to think eternal truths.
Okay, how do you know that? I agree that like I operate under that same assumption that there is an objective truth that we're observing and whatnot, and that our minds are accurate and whatnot. I operate under that assumption, but I recognize that that's a presupposition that I don't have any evidence for. That's kind of my foundational presupposition there. And it feels like you're taking a
Well,
step
then
further
that
and
would be
supposing that there's an explanation for that.
so yeah, that would be, so you would have what's called an unexplained explainer problem. So that means that's a concession to my argument. So your position collapses without the Christian God.
Well, no, what I'm saying here is that we're both making that presupposition, and you're making the further presupposition without evidence that the God
Yeah.
is behind that presupposition, and I don't know why you're making that extra presupposition.
Because my presupposition is self-explanatory, and your presupposition has an unexplained explainer, which means it collapses without the Christian God.
Well, having an explanation doesn't mean it's the right one.
It's the only it's a
Only
necessary
one you can think of.
It's a necessary precondition to have an explanation. So your presuppositions make explanations impossible because you have nothing that is like rational, self-explanatory, and necessary.
Yeah, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, I agree with you. I'm saying that we have to make that presupposition to interact with reality at all.
This is going over your head.
It's not. I'm sorry you think
It
that.
is. This is going over your head. Okay. Think of like the source of existence and truth itself, whatever
Okay.
that is. We can't know that as humans with like science or with human reason.
Right.
The only way we can know that is if it's a person that speaks to us. And if you deny that the source of existence is a person that speaks to us, then nothing is real.
Wait, so you're saying that there's no
wouldn't be able to-
possible other explanation for the source
You
of
would-
existence
there-
other than a personal person?
That's what I'm telling you. This is
Why? Why is that the only explanation?
I just explained it to you because unless the source of existence is a person who speaks to us, we can't know it.
Yeah, but why?
We can't know. I just explained it to you because we can't.
No, you're
know
just saying things. You're not giving an explanation.
I told you we can't know it with science and we can't know it with reason.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
So why
that's
are you
why
saying
we
that the
can't.
only way
Because
to know it
that's
is if a person talks to us?
because
That's
the
claiming.
only way we know things is through empiricism and rationalism, but none of those can get to the source of existence. So unless the source of existence is a person that reveals or speaks to us, then we can't know the source of existence. So you would have the problem of ultimate mystery.
So why is that not an option then? That there's not a person talking to us and we can't know it?
Because it makes knowledge impossible. That would be it.
Well, I mean, tough luck. If that is the truth, then so be it, right?
So then you're contradicting yourself by arguing me.
That's what I'm saying. It's a presupposition I make that truth does exist. It's one that I make so that I can interact with reality. Beyond that, I don't make any more presuppositions.
Okay, but you're contradicting yourself though.
Where?
Arguments are impossible given your presuppositions, but you are sitting here arguing with me, so that's a performative contradiction.
I know you're missing my secondary statement there. That unless I make that presupposition, I can't.
This is ridiculous. Welcome, neighbor.
Hello?
Hello.
You right?
I'm aight.
I said, are you alright? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aight.
Okay. So you say Christianity is objectively proven.
Yes.
Can you explain that? You don't have to have a massive explanation, just something to get me an understanding for the moment.
Sure. So when you ask for the proof, you're already standing on Christian ground. So that's not what I was looking for. There we go. So you're like without God, the Christian God, you're like Wile E. Coyote, where like the very logic you're using wouldn't be real or meaningful because nothing would make it real. Whereas like the Christian's like the roadrunner. He's standing on solid ground. That's the mind of God that makes logic real. So
Okay, sure. I wanna argue a point, right? It's kind of unrelated to what you're saying now, so I apologize for leading you onto that. So just this is a general thing, you've probably heard it before. So first of all, do you believe that God, isn't the Christian God, is all loving, all powerful, and what's the other one? All knowing?
yes.
Okay, you do believe that.
Yes.
Okay, great. So my question is that, hang on, I need to think of it for a second. Sorry, I'm a bit slow today. It's 1 a.m. in the UK. So, what was I going to say? Sorry, just give me a
You're
second.
gonna ask something like, "Why does God allow bad things to happen?"
It's along that. Yeah, it's along those lines, but it's not the same. It's not just that. The all-knowing part is the part that I find difficult. So yeah, thank you for helping me. If God knew before creating everything that it was going to end up with people suffering, with people dying, with war, with conflict, with genocide, with disease, with natural disaster, all the awful things in the world. If God knew that was going to happen, if God knew that was going to happen because Adam and Eve were going to bite the apple, if God knew that was going to happen before he created it, why did he still create it in that way?
Probably the same reason that parents have children. Every parent who has a child, they know that the child's going to suffer in life. And they still create the child because when two people love each other and they come together, they want to share that love, and then they create a baby. And so God is love. He wants to share his love, and he created us as his children, despite knowing that we would suffer, just like any parent knows that their child that life can be hard.
Is the difference, though?
What's the difference?
So when a parent has a child, the parent isn't all loving, all knowing, and all powerful. I think if I was a parent, which I'm not.
But you just asked about, like, why does God create knowing that the child suffers? I thought that was your question. So that's the same thing with the
No, you have to bring in all three aspects to all powerful as well. God had every power to make it so that children wouldn't suffer. But he chose not to.
Again, like a parent disciplines his child or their child. They like temporarily, they might ground them, they might revoke their car privileges or phone privileges. Well, that makes the child suffer. But if the parent doesn't make the child suffer, the child will suffer even greater, because without discipline, they could wind up in prison for the rest of their lives if they don't follow.
Missing my point is that
I don't think I am.
No, you are. So because before Adam and Eve bit the apple, or whatever, I'm not saying it's an apple or anything. I know that's not in the Bible, but the point is, before that happened, God knew that was going to happen in the way that he created the planet, or not the planet, the universe. And yet he still chose to do it in that way. He could have made it so that Adam and Eve wouldn't bite the apple, but he didn't.
He didn't make them bite the apple.
No, he created the universe with them having the capacity to bite the apple and damn humanity for the rest of existence with eternal pain and suffering. He chose to do that. He could have made it any other way, but he didn't.
He could have made it well, you say he could have made it any other way. I don't know how you know that.
Well, he's all powerful and he's all loving. So if he was all loving, he would have made it any other way.
I mean, how do you know that?
How do I know? How do I know what?
He could have made it any other way. You're just saying
he's all powerful and all loving. That's what the Bible says. That's what you just said.
But does the Bible say he could have made it any other way?
Yes, because he's all powerful.
I don't understand.
He can do anything.
No,
he could have created the world in any way.
He can't do anything.
So he's not all powerful.
Well, if that's what you want to say.
No, but that's what you said. He is all powerful, and now you're saying he's not all powerful.
Well, you're assuming that all powerful means you can do anything. But
yeah, that is what all powerful means. All powerful.
Okay.
Nothing stops.
Well, then God's not all powerful.
God's not all powerful.
No.
But that's what the Bible says he's all powerful.
Okay, but the Bible doesn't say God can do anything. The Bible says God can't experience sin. So if you're going to say all powerful means God can do anything, then the God of the Bible is not all powerful.
But the Bible says that God's all powerful, so the Bible's wrong.
Or you don't understand what the Bible means by all powerful, because it doesn't mean
all powerful doesn't matter what the Bible says it means. We know what all powerful means. That term exists outside of the Bible.
Do you think I'm lying to you?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Josh, it was in one of the footnotes, I think. He was talking about the two different types of the transcendental argument, and he said something like a metaphysical version and like another version.
Yep.
Would you say there's like a stronger one, or you think they're both just as good?
Darth would say the one's an ontological argument, which ontology has to do with existence, and then the other one is an epistemological argument. Epistemology has to do with knowledge. So, like, Darth will argue that God's necessary for anything to exist. Where like Jay Dyer will argue that God's necessary for knowledge. So the existence one I think is a much stronger claim, but
Okay.
you can kind of flip between the two. They both work, I guess. I think the knowledge one might be a bit easier to understand for people, but Darth says that they don't care like if knowledge is impossible, so he doesn't like to do that route. So Darth will always go with he'll talk about the God's necessary for existence.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Welcome, neighbor.
That's good.
Same guy.
Same guy.
Oh my gosh. I can't remember. What were we talking about?
We're talking about the existence of God being all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-loving.
Yeah, so when we say all-powerful, we don't mean he can't unalive himself. He can't experience sin. He can't like contradict.
Well, he can experience sin, he just doesn't because he's all-loving and all great, right?
No, he can't experience sin.
Is God perfect?
Yes.
Is everything he creates also perfect?
Is everything he creates also perfect? I don't think so. It says it's when he created the world, it said it was good. I don't think it said it was perfect.
Who created the devil?
Who created the devil? God.
Why would he do that then?
Well, angels have a free will, so some angels chose to rebel against God, just like humans rebelled against God.
But why would he create that as an opportunity for angels to do?
Why? How would I know that?
You're the Christian.
Yeah, but I only know what God reveals. So the Bible doesn't say like why God created angels, but it says he did create angels. And
that's not why he created angels. It's why he made them able to become Satan.
Because freedom underpins all of Christian ethics. So the idea that he created beings with the ability to rebel against him. He's not like a dictator.
But he just didn't have to do it though, did he? He could have just made it so that didn't happen.
No, because love requires a free will choice. You can't force love.
You can have free will without creating evil.
Can you have love without free will?
You can have free will without creating evil. You don't have to. You could get everyone free will without.
Okay, but
no, don't dodge. Don't dodge.
Dodging. God is love. Like the whole point of life in the universe is to love God and to love others.
Well, I don't believe in that. But
huh?
I don't believe that the point of the universe is to love.
Oh yeah, what do you think the meaning of life is then? What's the purpose?
There's no meaning to life.
Exactly. Oh my God.
We are here.
That's sad, dude.
I'm not sad. I was a Christian for my whole life until a few months ago. I'm the happiest now.
I've never heard that.
Wait, so are you critiquing the Bible or what?
Yeah.
Because it seems like you started to critique the Bible and then all of a sudden you're just talking about your beliefs. I don't understand that.
I didn't bring that up. I was asked what I think the meaning to life is. So I responded.
Yeah, but you understand, like, when you're critiquing the Bible, you have to speak on what the Bible says, right?
Yeah, I was.
No, you weren't. You were.
It didn't seem consistent.
No, you were.
What I heard was.
Yeah,
what I heard was you were starting to critique the Bible, and then you were just like, "Oh well, I don't believe that."
Yeah, because I was asked if it was true or if I believed it, so I answered it.
Yeah, but the point is that
you don't have to believe in the Bible to critique it. That's like.
I think you do. That's why. That's my argument. Is you can't rationally deny the Bible.
Your argument is you can't critique something if you don't believe in it.
No, with the Bible in particular, you couldn't rationally deny it because it would have to be presupposed to critique anything. Because you need to critique something, you need to assume logical consistency. Without logical consistency, you couldn't critique anything. And you only get logical consistency from the God of the Bible.
Okay, and what if someone doesn't believe the Bible exists? Well, not exist.
then
Sorry,
then
the
they're
words of the
just
Bible are true.
then they're just living an inauthentic life. It's like being a flat earther. They don't believe the Earth is a sphere, but then they navigate using spherical geometry.
So you're saying everyone that isn't Christian is the same as a flat earther?
Yeah, you navigate your life as if you're living in the Christian God's world. Just like the flat earther navigates on the sphere, he doesn't
Okay, let me
navigate on
ask
the
you this.
flat
How many
earth.
times has the flat earth theory been proven wrong?
How many times? I mean, like, how many?
A lot,
Like,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. How many times has the Bible been proven?
Everything proves the Bible.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
You can't just say
There
that.
couldn't-
Everything proves the
there
Bible.
couldn't
How many times has one been
be-
able to prove the existence of God?
because the Bible's necessary for proof, so all proof would implicitly prove the Bible. There couldn't be any more proof of the Bible if God tried to.
Has anyone ever been able to prove the existence of God?
I've done it on this live like
Yeah.
multiple
No,
times.
the whole point is no one can prove or disprove the existence of God.
According to you, but that's your worldview. In your worldview, no one can prove anything, which is why you should be a Christian and be a realist and stop
I
like
was
this
a- I was
goofiness.
a Christian. Until I actually looked at the arguments and then realized, oh, hang on a minute, maybe I've been wrong.
Yeah, what's the flaw in the argument that I made?
Which argument?
If facts, then God. Facts, therefore God.
So facts don't exist without God. Is that what you were saying?
God's necessary for facts. Yeah.
How?
So
Explain it.
I've already been explained it to you, dude.
Facts can't exist without a God.
No, because facts require identity, and identity requires something absolute to ground identity.
I just don't see that as like anything related. I just think
So like the things that exist, we see things that exist, and they exist dependently. Everything that we experience depends on something else for its existence. And in reality, there has to be something that exists independently of everything else. And that's God, right? And if there's nothing that exists independently of everything, then you'd have an infinite regress of dependent existing reality. And so there would be nothing could make reality real. You need something that, like a self-existing necessary reality, to make any reality real.
Do you?
Yeah, you do.
You sure?
So that's God. And the only way you can know that type of thing is if it's a person that speaks to us. So that's what I have in Christianity. You don't have that. So you can't even like make an argument. All your words are just noise without the Christian God.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you're saying nothing. So you're saying everything has to depend on something to exist.
No, I'm saying for anything to be real, there has to be a self-existing necessary reality.
I just don't think that's true. I don't think there has to be something.
Okay.
Something has to
But
exist.
you don't even know what I'm talking about. You're just saying that.
Well, then use normal words to describe things.
Yeah, it isn't. You understand what it means to be dependent. If everything is dependent, then that's an infinite regressive dependent things. There has to be something in the chain that exists independently, or nothing can exist in the chain.
What do you mean existing independently?
That it doesn't depend on anything. What do you mean?
Doesn't
I'm
depend on-
I'm literally using the dumbed down language you asked for. There's
Well, then dumb it
dependent.
down more, because you're just not
It's
making-
impossible to like. There's dependent existences, and there's an independent something that exists. And
Okay,
if
so without using circular reasoning, what is a dependent thing that exists? What dependent existence?
like you depend on your parents
Why
for
are you using
exist,
circular reasoning? You can't use the word depend to describe a circular reasoning.
yeah, all definitions are circular, sir. You define a word, but you can't use words because it's circular.
Yeah, there's a difference between circular reasoning and vicious or fallacious circular reasoning.
He told me my definition was circular, but all definitions are circular. This guy's nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know. What it seems like to me is he's implying that that's like a bad thing. So I was kind of saying like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not fallacious at all.
These people are ridiculous.
I think there's another guy requesting. Oh no, he's not requesting up anymore.
I'm making some of you guys mods so you don't have to put up with people's abuse if people are being abusive to you guys. You can mute them. Please don't block people. I mean, if you do, it's not a big deal. I'll probably just unblock them. But I want to have I'm really passionate about freedom of speech, and so I don't like blocking people. It is a necessary evil sometimes, but
yeah. See, that guy had no objection towards our stance. He basically just said, "Oh no, I don't believe it." So
I don't believe what you're saying. It's like, dude, I made an argument. So what he was doing was called an appeal to incredulity, which is actually what flat earthers do. They'll just say well, I'm not convinced by your argument. Well, it's not my job to convince him. It's my job to present an argument. As a debater, I'm not obligated to convince anyone of anything. All I'm obligated to do, my job as a debater, is to present an argument. Once I presented an argument, I've done my job. If he's just going to go, I'm not convinced, well, that's not a back and forth. That's not a counter argument. That's just now he's just like preaching basically. There's no substance to anything he's saying.
yeah, I don't know if he caught it, but when he was critiquing the Bible, you brought up what love is in the Bible and why God is necessary and stuff. And he just said, "Oh no, I don't believe that's what love is." That's why I interjected there. I don't think he realized it, but
yeah, that's not my. If you watch Aladdin, the genie will say there's 3 things you can't wish for. You can't bring someone back from the dead. You can't. Oh crap! Now I forget. Oh, wish for more wishes, and you can't wish for someone to love you. And the reason why you can't wish for someone to love you is because you can't. It doesn't make. It's like a contradiction. You can't force someone to love you. So this is so simple. God, being love, desires a loving relationship with his children. So he has to value our freedom and permit us to make mistakes. Well, we made a big mistake. But God didn't give up on us because he does love us. And so he has a plan. Even though he knew there was going to be a mistake, he knew he had a plan for that. So he has a redemptive plan. So even though there was a mistake, we rebelled. We have a path, an avenue to have a relationship with God. He didn't abandon us. And so you have that opportunity and you can take it or leave it.
right, yeah, my point there was kind of just like, if you're going to critique the Bible, you have to faithfully represent what the Bible actually says and means. So like, if he's just saying like, it kind of seemed like he was implying that God is evil because he created humans with free will, and like he just wasn't representing the God of the Bible correctly. So you kind of can't critique the Bible if you're not gonna.
You misrepresented all powerful too. Welcome, neighbor.
Me?
Yeah, you, neighbor.
Oh, hey, King, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm not a king.
Oh shit, just saying hey. So what's this about Christianity being objectively proven? How's it proven? How's it proof? Where's the proof on it?
When you ask for the proof, you're already standing on Christian ground because Christianity, the story of the Bible, is necessary to prove anything at all.
How though? Like, give me, because like, let's say I don't read the Bible that much and I'm not that smart. Like, explain it to me just so like me and the people watching, can like hear a bit of this proof.
Okay, it has to do with like the ground you're standing on. So
Yeah, but like how though?
yeah, I'm gonna. So like, when we both have to use logic to debate or argue, and the question is going to be like, is your reasoning real and meaningful according to your story, your presuppositions? So
Predispositions.
yeah, we humans we observe the world through a story. We understand the world through a story.
Yeah.
And in the Christian story, like the Christian would be like the roadrunner in the picture, where there's the mind of God can ground logic and make logic real. So when I use logic, I'm standing on the ground of the God's mind. But if you deny the Christian God, you're like Wile E. Coyote, where now you're standing on thin air. There's nothing that makes logic or reason meaningful.
But there's like science and facts though. I just want you to give me like, because proof, right? To have proof of something, you need to like either what? Visibly see it, be able to visibly hear it, observe it with the five senses, I'm going to guess, is like the rough definition of proof. I don't know the dictionary definition. So just from your panel, like, there being proof, and I understand this argument with like, the runner and the bird. I sort of understand that. I just want this like proof. I want a little bit of it, just a tiny
I
bit.
don't understand. Like, so we just ask, like, we say logic is true or facts. Let's do facts. Let's say facts exist or facts are true.
Yep.
And then I ask the question, what else has to be true for facts to be true? And we can demonstrate that the God of the Bible has to be true for any fact to be true. If you deny the God of the Bible, that's like denying all facts, because facts require identity. And without the God of the Bible, no fact would have any identity.
Well, not really. Like, you could have
Yes,
the
really.
fact that you have the fact that if you put yourself underwater for too long, you'll deprive yourself of oxygen and you'll drown. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. Without the Bible, we'd still have that fact. We'd still know about it.
We wouldn't have
I
that
don't
fact
understand the
because
correlation.
because that fact requires other facts. Like there has to be an absolute truth.
Well, no, not really.
Necessary
Because
truths.
in this
Okay.
scenario, you could get like 100 humans,
Well, then,
right? And like
but
start from zero.
if there isn't absolute truth, then you could exist and not be you. That would be the entailment of what you just said.
Not really. It's just the entailment of
Well,
like
now,
me being
okay,
able
I
to drown.
can't. You're just gonna say no. Well, have you considered nuh-uh? You're not really responding intelligently to what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna move on. Okay.
King, you just are stupid, but all right. Bye, King.
Okay. Well, not really. I'm not really stupid because you have no. Okay, I got a phone call. Can you hear me when I'm talking? You can't hear me when I'm on the phone, right? Because like it mutes me when I swipe off the app.
It's live pause.
Okay. I mean, look at the guy's name. Like he's clearly not serious. What a weirdo.
Man, P. Morris, you would have the most entertaining debate, dude. Like about like 5 minutes ago, there were some atheists named Born Again Atheists who was requesting up.
Oh, I've talked to her.
Oh, really? How was it?
So her background says God is evil,
Yeah.
and so I said something like, "Well, if God was evil, wouldn't he like force you to believe in him?" And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "But you don't believe in him." She's like, "Yeah," I'm like, "So he's not." Like, and then she like kind of like, yeah, she kind of went really silly after that. I think she realized I kind of got her.
Listen, it's because she goes for the, I guess, for the lukewarm Christians, and then she brings up the Old Testament, and the moment she gets to the Old Testament, she never lets it go.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really like. Well, at least, I don't know. How would you respond to the Old Testament? Because like I got baked like 2 days ago.
I'm like tired of all that. Like it's just emotional blackmail.
I know it is, dude. It's so annoying.
So I just like they'll be like, why did God command the Israelites to unalive the Amalekites and the babies and always the babies. So I just say, well, he just does that because he loves us.
Well,
So
the reason why I got baked is because like you know what, if your kid shoplifted in the Old Testament, I think in the book of Exodus you had to take off their fingers.
okay.
So the atheist was just asking me, if you were a parent, would you do that? I'm like, no. And then but then he said, if God commanded you, would you do it? I'm like, I can't really answer that.
What verse does it say that?
What verse he brought up?
Yeah, what verse did it bring up where you said you had to cut off the finger?
Yeah, I've never heard that one.
It was in Exodus or Deuteronomy. I don't know the exact chapter. I think it was near the 20s.
Hold on.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check.
Hold on.
Listen, but like
you ask AI or something?
No, I don't know. Like it was like he was an ex-Christian. He was a part of the Baptist church, so I don't know if the Baptist church teach something different. Because I think they're Protestants, but they're like more Protestant than Protestants.
Darth would have like a good response. Like I don't think Darth would like they're asking like really dumb hypotheticals.
I know, that's why I'm like, dude, it's because you're asking.
You could say like
hypotheticals. And
you could say like God, according to his unchanging nature, would never ask me to do that or something like. I would say that.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, well, God never asked me to do it, and then he switched up the topic. He said, what about Isaac and Abraham? I'm like, well, I'm telling you right now, Isaac. He said, well, Isaac still has trauma because I said, well,
that would support your position because that's a story about human sacrifice is wrong. So the whole point of that story was to not sacrifice Isaac. It was like bad to sacrifice Isaac.
Oh my! I wish I knew that, bro. You actually helped me so much to finally like get over that argument. Thank you.
Oh wait, did you say something about getting someone's fingers cut off for stealing? You said.
Yeah, we're shoplifting. I don't know if that's what it said. I never read Exodus.
I don't know if that's in the Bible. I don't know.
No, it's not. So literally what he was doing, this is what a lot of atheists do. They take advantage of you not knowing like scripture well. So they'll just throw something in there and be like, oh, so then what you have to do is you have to say, hey, what verse does it say that? This is what I do. You don't have to. But just so that they look dumb, just say, hey, what verse does it say that? And just see what they say. And then if they give you a verse, go and read it to them. And then when you read it, say, oh, where does it say that?
Yeah. I think someone made something up to kind of mislead you and kind of like make it seem like they had like a little gotcha moment. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
They lied to you to confuse you. They took you into their they put you on their train tracks. So whenever somebody does that, bro, I want you to ask them, hey, what verse does it say that? What verse does it say that?
Well, it's because he overwhelmed me because after a certain point, like because first it was talking about the New Testament, which like it's pretty easy to talk to about. Everybody knows the Old Testament, the New Testament. Sorry. Then he said there's a shift in tone, so now we're gonna talk about owning people. I'm like, dude.
No, that so okay, so that's fine. Okay, like if first and foremost make it known to him, like, yo, you're shifting. But okay,
I did tell him, like, you're shifting to an outrageous topic already.
You don't have to. So here's the thing. What I'm trying to learn too is the tag argument. So for him to even say that to make any kind of judgment, like what standard is he revealing to whenever he talks about anything that God does wrong?
Yeah.
So you can. That's what I'm trying to learn how to do. Right. So you can do that. Or if you want to do the other route, like I said, if he brings you to a verse, go and read the verse and read the context, right? Because what people like to do is they like to cherry pick certain verses, but they never read the verses around it.
No, I get your point. It's because like when he started, like this was way later in the, like, because I was like, I had the Bible in front of me, right? I was flipping to the verses he gave me, but after a certain point, when I was getting overwhelmed, because it was 7 in the morning and I haven't slept all
Oh,
night, so like I was overwhelmed, so I couldn't like.
yeah, yeah, I feel you. Yeah, no, bro. There's none. Like literally, the closest. It's not even close. There's nothing that says that you have to chop your son's fingers off if they still. He's talking about the laws that they gave if you stole a man's ox or if anybody stole. It actually says that you have to pay. You have to pay the master or something like that. I can't remember. I have to go look, but it has nothing to do with cutting somebody's fingers off. He literally just made that up on the spot to sound smart.
Was his argument was God made this law, so he said thus it has to be done no matter what, because God's law never changes.
But what he's okay,
No.
so this is stupid. Okay, so this is why this is stupid because according to what he gave you, right? He said, well, in Exodus it says that God if the son steals, then you have to cut off his fingers. Okay, so then let's go to it. Where does it say that? Oh, it doesn't say that at all. Okay, so then why are you lying?
Well, I wasn't that part of the what was it the Hebrew law, right?
Yeah, so he's talking about
You gotta. These laws aren't rigidly enforced. Too. They're
yeah.
more like a ethical guideline than like they're like in modern legal code. They rigidly enforce the legal code. They didn't do that with this law code. They're more. It's kind of like exact. I think a lot of it's like hyperbole.
Oh yeah, yeah, I get it.
Like it's exaggerated.
It's like, bro, it was like because he was bringing up so many questions, and then like he said, "Would you?" Like he kept repeating, "Would you do it?"
Yeah, so what he was doing is he was just throwing a lot at you because that's what they like to do. They like to throw a lot at you to get you jumbled up. And then whenever he said, would you do that if God told you to do that? He's trying to get you to say, oh, yeah, I would. But then what PMAR said is, you know what God you serve. So you know that God would not ask you to do that.
Yeah. So don't even entertain it. I would just say like the God I serve commands me to love others, and love does no harm to another. So he would never ask me to do that.
Yeah, well, I will admit, like I did cave in because after a certain point, I'm like, dude, this guy keeps asking the same questions, and he's just for like I caved in. I'm like, dude, God never asked me to do these things, bro. And then he will keep pressing it on, and eventually I had like I guess like a breakdown. I'm like, dude, you can't like I don't know what you want me to do. And I just got mad. I'm like, well, I don't know what I want to do, bro.
Yeah, whenever they start asking you a lot of questions, I like me, what I do, if they just start trying to throw a bunch of questions at you, mute them and say, hey, we're going to take this one question at a time. Stop jumping around, right? And if they keep jumping around, just kick them.
Well, no, it wasn't my life. It was his life.
Oh, well, then you just leave.
No, I know. I should have left because after a certain point, like, this isn't going nowhere. But
Yeah, whenever, and here's the thing too, when you're on their life, there's nothing wrong with you going on their life, right? The problem though is because you're on their life, right? You're still with God, obviously, but like if they're hosting their own live, then they're gonna have more control of like muting you, telling you what to do, things like that. Here's the thing: just tell them next time if you're on their live to say, "Hey, stop asking so many questions, please. Can I answer one question at a time?" If they don't stop, then just say, "Hey, since you're not willing to have a decent conversation, I'm just gonna leave," and then leave. Don't even waste your time. Like, just yeah, don't even do it.
when he did bring up was it, I think Exodus 20 or 21 where it talks about owning people. I don't think I can say the real word on here, obviously. I did tell him this is the Hebrew law. We're not Hebrew. We're not Hebrew, dude. Like we're way
Exodus
past.
20. Well, Exodus. Are you talking about what do you mean?
It was more it talks about if you're I don't know like your person that you own did X thing, you have the right to
I think you say slave. I think you say that.
I don't know. I don't think I can say that on live. That's why I want to play it safe.
Yeah. So here's the thing that most people, especially atheists, don't understand about slavery. It's not even slavery in the Old Testament back then. So slavery in the Old Testament is servitude, right? So what does that mean? So back then, right, it's not like chattel slavery where people were forced into it, right? Back then, people volunteered to be a servant, aka a slave, to be able to provide for themselves or their family if they needed to pay off debt, etc. So, what people are trying to do is they go, "Oh, look, they're all slaves," not even realizing that the slave voluntarily became a slave to be able to provide for himself or his family. So yeah, he owns it. It's as simple as like the NBA, right? What do the NBA players do? They go and they sign a contract, right? They sign a contract so that they provide what? They provide everything for them, right? They technically own them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. It's almost the same thing.
Oh, okay. Well, at least it's better to know because I like.
Well, that
He was bringing up the argument because he asked this all of these questions came from one point, and he just asked me, "Is it okay to own people, or is it okay to be owned?" And I said, "You
No,
are."
it's not okay to own people, but they were Jesus Christ. They were volunteering to be servants. And so you have to tell them, do you know what the slavery in the old Bible actually was? And I can almost guarantee you what they're going to start doing. They're going to start telling you characteristics of chattel slavery. Chattel slavery is like what happened to like African American or Africans, et cetera, right? And even more, not just Africans.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. As a matter of fact, what you can also do is you can point before the laws, right? Where he literally freed the Israelites from chattel slavery.
who's that one guy? Oh, no, I can't think of his name.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. Because like, I mean, to be honest, I don't know why I was debating them after like the sun rose. I probably should have went to sleep, but
No, you're good. You're good. They don't under. So what they do is they cherry pick the Bible without even understanding the history, right? Like they have to realize the time that the Bible was written in, or the books of the Bible were written in. So you have to go do research to see, well, what is this, right? What was going on around this time, right?
yeah.
Like so that's why they do that, right? So you're good, bro. Like it's
Bring up Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass.
All right. Well, I'll get off, man. I just had this question because I got.
Yeah. One more thing is very simple. You can also bring up Bible verses where it speaks against oppression, and that very simply dismantles their interpretation of the Bible on slavery.
You could say I'm King James only. I'm King James only because in the King James the word slave doesn't appear.
Yeah.
That's what I did to some guy the other day.
Can you give verses for against oppression?
I can give you some verses in a second. Yeah, 1 second.
All right, if you want, I'll drop down. Just put them in the chat because I'm running out notes for all of these things.
Leviticus 19:33 through 34, I think.
Leviticus 13. What was it?
19. Here, I'll get the background. I have it. 19.
I don't really see it because I'm blocking. I'll just drop down, bro. All right, God bless.
Yeah, it's 33 through 34. Leviticus 19:33 through 34. That's a good one.
He said he's gonna draw. Yeah, but I think he got it. Yeah, it is. And you know what's funny? They try to use the Bible without even understanding what the true meaning actually was. So something that I started doing is I realized that the Bible, the manuscripts of the Old Testament were written in Hebrew, and they were written in some Aramaic. Some of Daniel was written in Aramaic.
Cyrillic.
You said what?
Cyrillic.
Cyrillic?
Yes.
What?
That's what most of the Bible was written in. Cyrillic.
No, it was written in Hebrew,
Greek. Aramaic, and Peon Greek. Go look it up.
Yeah, that's correct.
You're talking about the King James version, aren't you?
No, we're
You're
talking
not
about the
talking
original.
about the Ethiopian
About the
version.
manuscript.
No, we're talking about it was originally written in Hebrew, the Old Testament, and then the New Testament was in Koine Greek, and what was the other one? Aramaic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So no, sorry. So yeah. The original, like the manuscripts themselves, right? The Old Testament was written in Hebrew and some Aramaic. Some, I say some lightly, and then the Old Test or the New Testament is written in Koine Greek, which doesn't even exist anymore. That is because when you go look up certain words like slavery, like in the Old Testament in Hebrew, because what most people don't understand about Hebrew is Hebrew words are not like English words, right? They can be, but not, right? So can be, but not, right? So you guys probably know this, but in Hebrew, there can be one word that means like 17 different things depending on the context of the text around the word. Funny. So this is total. This is kind of on topic, but it's not. So I played. Have you ever played like God of War, like video games?
I played God of War. Like I played 2 of them. I played 3 and the
So,
one. Yeah, go ahead.
no, sorry. So when I'm thinking about playing God of War, like you got Zeus, you got all these other gods, right? And I'm thinking like, bro, like I'm over here smurdering all these gods. Like they're literally being unalived, right? So when I look back at that, I'm like, yo, like the fact that I can unalive a god, I know it's a video game, right? But the fact that these gods could be unalived just shows that they're not actually a true god,
Yeah.
right?
No, those gods are mortal. Those gods are created beings. They're not. That in that mythology, they believe in a primordial chaos or something, and that the gods are just like super powered created beings. Welcome,
What do
guys.
you, what do you mean by that? I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to get in. I feel like a little bit of word salad here. Are you saying that people didn't believe those gods were real in the past?
They were created beings. They weren't like our God is uncreated and eternal, where like Zeus is not uncreated and eternal. So they're like totally different.
That wasn't my question. My question was, do you? When we're
No,
talking
we're
about,
not saying that people didn't believe those things. We're basically talking about why the Christian God is
Oh
real in those. Am I wrong, Pete Mars?
no, you're right. Yeah, I think you're answering his
Yeah, yeah.
question.
Why the Christian God is real and not these like mythological gods.
well, okay, so to okay, so you're saying that people believed these in the past, correct? So these gods, in their minds, they existed, right?
No,
If
no,
we're
we're saying that these gods uh
well, no, I'm not
cannot be
saying that
true.
God existed. I don't believe that at all. What I'm saying is, in their minds, didn't they exist?
I'm not sure about that, but why does it matter?
Well, because I think that saying that your God exists, and these others don't,
So you're just
because
saying
they're.
that we're just making it up and
No,
just
no,
a
no. I'm not
part of our
saying
mind.
anything. I'm actually just asking a question. I'm not stating anything. I'm trying to understand. Do you are you saying that people in the past did not believe that Thor was a real god?
Trying to say you're trying to say that if they said that in their mind and they believe that that was their god, then what's the difference? That's all you're trying to say. Like, let's just stop.
I
Well,
don't.
not
I don't
necessarily.
know.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
necessarily that that's where I'm going. I'm just.
Well, here to
I
answer
think
your
your
question.
claim.
Okay, let me
I'm
answer your
trying to
question.
hold
Let me
on. I'm
answer your
trying to.
question. Oh my god. I don't. We don't know. How do we know? How am I going to know if they believe Zeus was real or not? How am I going to know that? I'm not.
Well,
I'm not a pagan.
Zeus wasn't pagan, but so you, I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to. say that what you're saying about these people not believing these gods, or that these
No one,
gods were
dude. No one is talking about that. We're talking about logic. We're making
Oh,
arguments.
okay. Well, then let's talk about logic. I'm just trying to say that when you're talking about these things are made up beings, and your God is not a made up being, I think that that's a false equivalence. I don't believe that is. I don't believe what you're saying is true.
Oh,
That doesn't
we're
sound.
talking about how these gods cannot exist.
I agree those gods
They
don't
can't.
exist,
No.
but
We're agreeing that they can't exist.
I agree with that. But you also have to agree that people believe that those gods did exist.
There
It
was
doesn't matter. Like that
It doesn't
doesn't play
matter
a
what
part
people.
in our
So
conversation here.
we're talking about like what can be proven real, right? So like, who
Sure.
cares what someone believes? Like, it matters what can you prove is real, and we can prove like Christianity is true.
Please demonstrate that for me. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, facts. Facts require a story. You can't have a fact without a story behind the fact. And so the necessary story for any fact would be the story of the Bible. And to deny that, you'd be making a counterclaim that some other story makes facts true. But there is nothing that can do that.
I don't understand what you mean by facts require a story. Explain that to me.
Facts require context. So like if you go to walk into a movie halfway through the movie and you see a character sneaking in, you wouldn't be able to interpret the correct facts without the context of like the beginning of the movie, because you might assume it's a villain sneaking into a house, but maybe it's like the hero sneaking in to like rescue a hostage. So facts require context, like a story, and the story of the Bible is necessary context for any fact
I
to be a
think
fact.
you. I think you and I maybe disagree on what facts are versus what a theory is. So a fact,
No.
in my well, let me, if I may just tell you what I the way I perceive a fact. That way we can make sure that we're speaking the same language. Isn't a fact just a thing that we observe?
Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't require a story. I can say that all steel bars sink. If I throw a steel bar in a pool, that steel bar is going to sink. That's a
Yep.
fact.
When we observe something, we observe things through, we like use our reason to observe, right?
You use your faculties.
You use
You
reason.
your well, your
This isn't
reason is going to be
bro.
where theories or
Okay.
hypotheses come in.
Okay. So this isn't controversial, right? This is a scientific fact that humans interpret reality through stories. That's how we interpret the world. That's not
Correct. We don't
controversial.
interpret facts that way. But I
Yes.
agree.
Yes.
Humans interpret reality in,
Okay,
in that way.
sir. This isn't controversial. Humans interpret facts through stories. This is not controversial. You can't disagree with this. You'd be irrational, like a flat earther.
See,
Disagree. I
I
said
don't
I agree.
understand
So you need
why
to.
you aren't like arguing from a position. You're kind of just saying like you're being super careful right now. You know, I don't understand why you're not like arguing for your position, because we're here to like debate. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, perfect. Well, I wasn't. I was just when I was talking about the first notion here. I was just talking about the way that you guys are speaking about the gods. You also have. Oh, I'm sorry. The live is paused.
I can hear
Did we
you.
pause? Was that me?
Nah,
Oh, okay.
I heard you.
I'd be happy to disagree with one of your subjects here.
Well, I was already. I mean, I was
I'm sorry.
I was proving Christianity is true. You didn't really
Yeah,
respond to
oh,
my
I'm sorry. Yeah, please. Then I missed it. If you did that,
yeah.
it totally went by me. Please
The
tell me how Christianity is
remember
true.
stories. We need a story for facts. The story of the Bible is necessary for facts. So if you reject that, you're making a counterclaim that some other story makes facts true. But like, what would that be?
I'm sorry. Someone was talking to me. Say that one more time. I apologize.
Facts aren't neutral. Facts require a story. Because we
No,
have
facts are neutral. The story is what's not neutral.
this is not true. I can demonstrate this, right?
Please demonstrate that to me.
Okay. To observe reality, we need logic to observe reality. Because things have to have an identity. Before you even observe anything, it has to have an identity. You can't observe something without an identity. So we have
I don't understand what do you okay. What are you saying?
the first law of logic is the law of identity. When you observe
Yes.
something, it must have an identity because you can't observe something with no identity. So logic has to be true in order to observe anything. So that's like a framework or like a story.
I agree that logic is an axiom. That I agree with that premise.
We're not
Yes.
talking about axioms. I'm talking about the story. So logic is a story, right? So I have a story of how I use logic, right? So in my story, God of the Bible is the source of logic. He designs me in his image. My mind is made in the image of the mind of God, so I can use logic. That's like my story. So you
would have to use hold on.
Excuse me.
Yes,
You're using logic based on a different story that's not of the Bible. So what would be your story?
you would have to use logic to interpret your first story. So your logic is an axiom.
Okay. We're not talking about axioms because to even have an axiom.
No, you're saying that logic that you can interpret the Bible in this way because and logic tells this story. That's not a true statement. Logic is you would have to have logic to even start with that idea.
Sir, we start with God's revelation. So we start with God.
So you're a presuppositionalist.
Yes, I reason from God's revelation. You do not reason from God's revelation. So we have competing stories of how we interpret facts. But the problem is your competing story collapses and depends on my story. So your view is parasitic upon my view.
That's incorrect.
Why?
Because logic is an axiom. For you to have this presuppositional idea,
okay, you're not. This is going over your head. I don't know. This is just going over your head. You're not understanding.
Everybody presupposes, right? You realize that.
You just keep saying blah blah axiom. This has nothing to do with axioms. I'm asking.
Yes, it is.
You said
no, it doesn't.
How can you claim that God? Can I ask you a question? Let me. I want to stick with this point.
Okay, but when you ask the question, it proves my my argument. Go ahead.
You don't even know what the question is, so you're already
your question to ask a question.
You're already presupposing that I'm going to prove your
argument.
To
ask a question would prove my argument because only in the Christian worldview do we have an absolute, so that your words.
How do you know that that's true?
Well, tell me what's the absolute.
How do you know that what you just said is true?
Because only the Christian God is a revealed absolute.
That's a claim. That's not telling me how you know it.
I am telling you, it's revealed.
Okay. That's a claim. How do you know this thing?
It's revealed.
By the way, okay, so
God entered. The source of existence and truth is a person who entered into human history.
So he revealed it. He revealed it to you, correct?
And he speaks to us. Yes.
Did he reveal it to you?
He revealed it objectively to everyone.
Everybody. Okay, it's not just us.
Okay, I'm just fine to all of us, whatever. But he revealed it to you, correct?
Everyone.
And also, everyone is also you, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so are you infallible?
No.
Can you be wrong?
Can you defend your position?
I'm asking a question.
Can I be wrong? Yes, I can be wrong. Yes. Can you defend your position?
Then how can you know? how can you know that what you're interpreting this God to say is true?
Because when
Because
you
it is
because
filtered. It's filtered through your mind.
no, it's revealed. So you're forcing
Okay,
your
but
when you say
it's
it. Stop,
filtered. You're saying that
stop,
it's not
stop,
filtered through
stop,
your
stop,
mind?
stop. When you say it's filtered through my mind, that's
Yes.
your worldview where you believe human reason is ultimate. But that's not my view. My view is that God's reason is ultimate, right? So I think that everything in my mind is ultimately filtered through the mind of God. For example, when you say, could you be wrong? Did you say, could you be wrong? Did you know that a human mind can't define what it means to be wrong? So that sentence is parasitic on my view because only the mind of God can
The
define what it means.
human
Can a
mind
human mind
can't
define right?
define
Can a
what's
human mind
wrong.
define good and wrong? Yeah.
Yes.
Can a human
Yes.
mind define right and wrong?
Yes.
Really? How does that work?
Yes.
Because what is your objective standard for right and wrong that's based on a human mind, which would completely be a contradiction?
Well, what you're saying is that I can't know this because I'm fallible, and
What
I'm
I'm
saying you
saying is
can't
that,
know your
sir,
revealed truth
sir,
is
sir, wouldn't right and wrong depend on an objective standard? Because if you don't have an objective standard,
no.
then oh, really? So right and wrong depends on a subjective standard.
Correct. That's the way that's the
Okay,
way that we work right now.
so then anything can be true.
No.
Why not?
Why can't anything be true? Because you have certain axioms that say that these
Okay,
things are not true, and you live in a social world, and you're a social being, and people agree on what's true and what's not true.
but it
That's what
doesn't
it is
matter
being
if
social.
everyone, if we all agree that Christianity is true. Is Christianity true?
No.
Okay.
If we
So
all
that
agree
isn't that a
if we
direct
all agree
isn't that, how is
slavery is
that?
true,
How come
if
you can agree on things and then that makes them true, but like me and my friends here, we can't agree that Christianity is true. That doesn't make Christianity true. What's the difference?
we're not talking now about morality. We've moved on to Christianity being true, and
They're all interconnected. To say
no,
anything is right and wrong
morality versus Christianity that has nothing to do with each other.
in
But
Christianity, yes, it does.
no, it doesn't.
The
So if
Christian
we're
God is
talking
what we
about
use to define what's good. So
how do you do that,
it's a revealed objective standard of the mind of God.
and that's filtered through your mind, which could be, you said, fallible, which could be wrong.
Okay, but it doesn't matter if I'm fallible because
Yes, it does, because the revealed truth.
the position, so that would be a straw man. So the
I'm not
revealed truth
strawmanning your position. You said that this is revealed to you, and so
is revealed to
fine, but
you.
it's not revealed to me. So I don't
Okay,
believe it.
defend that. Defend that then.
I'll defend it right now. I don't believe it.
So what? So then, if okay, but so then if okay, but to believe in anything, there would have to be real minds and things that really exist, right?
So now we're talking about solipsism. Do you
We're
believe
talking
you're
about your
laying it out?
position. We're talking about. I'm trying to want you to defend your position because you said God didn't reveal Himself to you, but
Correct.
yet you believe your mind is real and that things really exist, don't you?
I believe that that is the only belief I can have
So for
in
your mind
this.
to be real and for things to really exist, there would have to be some self-existing necessary reality, or else you would have an infinite regress of dependent realities. So what would be the self-existing necessary reality that's not the revealed
What
Christian God?
I don't understand what you're saying there. You just said a bunch of
Your
words.
mind, your mind and things existing, there's dependent things that exist and your mind would be dependent, so you need something that
There's
exists.
dependent things that exist, such as.
Your mind and anything that exists is going to be
Okay, so
dependent.
in this, if we're talking about solipsism, then you're correct. The only thing that would have to exist, the only dependent thing would be my mind, and
Nothing could exist.
your
Nothing
God would
could
have
exist.
nothing to do with that.
Nothing could exist without a self-existing necessary reality because you would have an infinite regress of dependent realities. So you couldn't.
I don't
You're
I don't understand your claim.
even your solipsism is going to be parasitic on my view. So everything you say, all
No,
your thoughts,
solipsism is the idea that my mind is a brain
which
and
is
a house.
parasitic on my view, because you're
No, it
gonna.
isn't.
Well, then what? Well, what would ground the existence of anything?
What grounds the existence of anything?
What's the self-existing necessary reality that would have to exist to ground any existence?
Dude, you're talking word salad. You're not
I'm
making
just
any.
pointing
Your
out that
question it's insuperable. You're not making sense with your question.
there's dependent realities and there's independent realities. So for there to be dependent reality, there has to be an independent reality. So like, what would be the independent reality?
I'm fine to say I don't know.
Okay, and when you say I don't know, that would be a concession to the argument I've been making this
No, it's
entire time.
not. No, it's
Okay,
not, because what you're saying is you do know, and I'm saying you can't prove that. Demonstrate it.
I keep saying that your view is parasitic on my view, and when you said
That's a claim. That's not a demonstration.
the demonstration was when you said I don't know, that demonstrates that your view collapses without the Christian God.
No,
So
that just demonstrates that I'm willing to say I don't know a thing.
whether you
And
admit it
that's
or not,
fine, but you're saying you know, and you're making claims
it demonstrates
that are not true, that you can't demonstrate.
that your view is parasitic on mine. Except
No,
like when you
it
say
isn't. Tell me how that demonstrates that my view is parasitic on yours.
Yeah, when you say prove it, you're standing on God's ground, because to prove something, logic would have to be.
Another claim, more babble. It's another claim. You're not
It's actually an
demonstrating
axiom.
anything.
Listen. It's
Well, then
actually
how do you demonstrate something with if logic isn't real or meaningful when grounded
I
in the Word of
already
God?
said logic is an axiom.
Yeah, but
logic
I'm asking you
itself.
what makes it real
Wait,
and
wait, wait,
meaningful.
wait. Are you saying that
Logic,
logic itself is an axiom?
Saying it's an
correct.
axiom doesn't make it
That's
real and
false.
meaningful.
That's false.
That is not
Logic is
false.
a system of reasoning.
Correct. It's an
Logic
axiom.
itself is a system of no, that's not true.
Correct.
He means brute
Yes,
fact.
it's one.
He means brute fact.
No, what I'm also saying is that for us to identify anything as true or false, logic has to be the first premise. So
Okay.
the first
But how do
premise
we know
is
logic? How do we
the
know
first
logic?
premise
How
is
do we
an
know logic is
axiom.
necessary? Did logic tell you it's necessary?
For you to answer that question, you'd have to have logic.
Well, because God told me he was necessary, so I know God's necessary, and I'm not just bullshitting you.
Sure,
Surely you're like care
I'm
about the
sure you're
truth.
very sincere on this
Well,
idea,
sure, I'm sure you care
but
about the truth. Like,
for you to even say what you just said, you would have to have logic as a part of that axiom.
did logic tell you that?
For me to say yes to that, I would have to use logic. So yes,
Okay, so logic told you that logic is necessary.
logic didn't tell me anything. That's a dumb way to
Then
say
how
it.
do you
But
know that
yes,
logic is
logic,
necessary?
because for you to identify anything as true or false, you have to have logic.
Okay, but
Even with your idea of God.
did logic tell you that?
That's a really dumb way to say it.
Why? Because my God told me he's
Because
necessary.
logic doesn't tell anybody
But do you
anything.
see?
You use logic to come up with
Yo,
to come
But
up
don't
with
you
the truth.
understand that my God told me that he was necessary for
I'm
logic?
sure that you
You're
believe
saying
that,
yours,
and
sure, sure.
the way that you would identify that is
So you're saying that logic is necessary, but logic didn't tell you it's necessary. Do you see how like I can know my God's necessary because my God told me he's necessary? Logic didn't tell you it's necessary. Do you see the problem that you're in?
see, no. A big problem here is an axiom is a basic starting assumption in a particular system, right? And logic itself is a system of reasoning.
This guy's just bickering.
Logic itself is not an axiom. You are like categorically false on that. Like
look that up.
definitionally,
You
you
should
are
look that up.
definitionally wrong on that. I just did.
Please read it off.
Logic
It's a
is a
system
system of
coming
reasoning,
up. Correct.
The
For
systems
and
identify
continue.
an
and
axiom is a
how would
basic starting assumption in a particular system.
which is
Exactly.
using logic.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's saying. He's just.
Yeah, you don't understand this. You don't
All right.
understand this at all.
I mean,
Okay.
I was trying to be nice to him. You're right, Miss Pa. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I was trying to be nice to him, but he's like really arrogant and he thinks he knows everything. So it's hard to reason with. It's like talking to a flat earther.
Yeah, no. If you think logic itself is an axiom, I can't continue the conversation.
So
I can't
God,
debate that. I can't debate. I can't debate that at all.
God would be the necessary precondition to have an axiom. Without God, you couldn't have an axiom. But
How could you prove whether or not your God is true or not without logic?
no.
Good counter argument. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you got me. Damn, look, he ran away. He ran
Well,
away.
we need logic, and logic requires God. What's the problem with that?
He's gonna clip that. He ran away. I'm literally gonna, dude. I'm like he.
Yeah, this dude is crazy, bro.
He's like
He's
trying to
saying
get. Yeah, he's trying to get a
logic is an
gotcha.
axiom. Like it's just definitionally false.
Yeah, his
I'm
gotcha.
not.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not gonna debate stupidity. It's just that's just
really
absurd.
He was really stupid. Welcome, neighbor.
Hello.
What would you like to say?
I don't really know. I mean, I'm agnostic. I would like to know how that is irrational.
Because there's no evidence for agnosticism or argument to support it.
You don't need an argument for agnosticism.
Okay, well then you don't need to be rational. I'm just gonna say you're irrational. And if you want to say like I believe something but I don't have a reason for it, I'm gonna say you're crazy.
Okay. Agnosticism isn't a belief. You are spending your claims.
Okay. Well,
So
whatever, dude. I don't understand. Why should I care what you think? I don't give a shit what you think. If you want to go to hell, that's on you. That's between you and God. That has nothing to do with me.
I mean, to me that's nonsense because I don't believe on that. But I like to know how.
Good luck with that.
If I have no proof of something, what is the proof that I can find in the world that tells me Jesus is God?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Do you brush your teeth?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jesus is necessary to brush your teeth because when you brush your teeth, when you squeeze the tube of toothpaste, you believe that the toothpaste will go onto your toothbrush, but that's only makes sense if the Christian God puts order and patterns in nature. So there'd be no reason to think that there was order and patterns that you could squeeze a tube and the toothpaste would come out. That requires order. That's a Christian God.
And so people before Jesus' death, they were all irrational.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
This is hilarious. I think you're just trolling.
Okay. Well, good luck in hell.
Yeah. I mean, all the interesting people are in hell. You know, people that would go to heaven seems like a boring place.
And that's my favorite cliche. I love that.
How is it a cliche? I mean, the
Because
people
it's
that
like a cliche thing. So do you think you're the only one who said that and you're like profound? I hear that all the time. It's cliche.
If you go to heaven, it's because you're submitting to a person that didn't do nothing but sacrifice themselves for nothing. I mean,
you're submitting to a human being. I'm submitting to a God.
I mean, you're submitting to but I mean, if you're submitting to Jesus, I guess.
Your life is controlled by organized crime, dude.
He was a crazy man that was just killed and did nothing. I mean, he's not like a person that did something important. He was just crucified and he got famous because he had all the...
Wait. Are you using logic right now?
What?
Are you using logic right now?
I don't think his English is good enough to talk about that stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's why I wasn't. I was being nice to him. Bueno.
Yeah, I speak Spanish, but
do you struggle with English?
not much.
All right. I'm gonna shut this down, guys. Thanks for coming.
All right, man. Yeah, I'll see you another time.